All right, we already have Mr. Agility Talks on the live stream, and I've also messaged people to join in. My friends are joining in. Just give me a couple of minutes. We'll wait for a few people to join, and then we start ranting about Man United. So, if you can hear me, just leave a thumbs up in the live chat so I know everything is working all right. Am I audible? Just leave a thumbs up in the chat so I also know who all are attending. Okay, only two people right now so far. So the thing is, we start from the players, then the manager, the fitness department, the board, the owners. We're gonna cover everything. All right, and the thing is, I usually come up to people as someone who's very composed, which I am. I'm not gonna lie about that. But it's like when I get angry, I get really angry. So that's why this rant is special to me as well. Hope to have these two people stick till the end of this live stream. People who can hear me, just put a thumbs up in the chat, please. Well, my laptop shows my mic is working. All right. So, Rishabh, we're gonna rant about the Glazers first, and then, if the public wants me to, I'll also talk about Bartomeu, Kroenke, Daniel Levy, all the sort of conjuice, or how do I say it in English? The penny pinching owners or board members of all the clubs. So we'll do that if you guys request me to do so in the chat. But we'll start off first with Man United. Okay, so we have four people, half a minute more, and then we'll start. Okay. Arkadamani, अरे big fan. अरे यार कैसा है? Just my cousin, guys. Abhay Pai बाटे में हूँ. I already know Abhay Pai wants me to rant about that. Chalo. Okay, so we'll start off and cover every player that we have to in United squad. I'm just opening the United app so that we don't miss out on any player. I'm gonna briefly say if would it be fair to sign Sancho without having a finisher to finish his quality assists and crosses? We have no Haaland. Bro, Martial is literally one of the most clinical strikers in the Premier League. And I'm not even saying just United, I'm saying in the Premier League. His finishing is top notch. I'll also talk about the Crystal Palace game, what the problem was, and like why we were so dull, and sort of a throwback to the Van Hal Moyes days, all of that. Okay. So let's start 60 million down the drain. Tony Marshall scores again. He'll do that. Okay. Let's start off from the back. David De Gea. Now, this is a player I have very strong opinions on. Might be controversial, but this man needs to leave the club. He needs to be sold ASAP. We've seen enough howlers of him. Luckily, Kepa made one last night, so that takes him to 9. De Gea is on 8 since the start of the 17-18 season. No, the 18-19 season, sorry. So De Gea has got 8 errors directly leading to goals. Kepa luckily has 9 after last night's one. De Gea needs to leave the club. The problem is, earlier he used to make some amazing saves, which he still does. But that does not mean you can let in the easy ones. He's cost in Ole's half season, like when he started off as the temporary manager, then got appointed permanently in that season towards the end. De Gea cost us Champions League qualification. I'm not even gonna lie, he cost us the Champions League in that season. He would have easily, any sensible manager would have played Romero. I clearly remember when the fax machine scandal thing happened. Are United fans to be blamed for this window while we only wanted Sancho on Instagram, other teams, and okay. I'll talk about that later. So, during the fax machine transfer window, Louis Van Gaal benched him for the first few games because he understood De Gea's mind was not towards the football. His mind was hovering around Real Madrid and the contract and why he couldn't leave United, all of that. In Ole's the half season, his contract was a big issue at that time as well. He clearly was not in the game Ole should have benched him. And right now, we've seen it last season, the FA Cup. Uh, I mean, there's innumerable errors that David De Gea has made leading directly to goals. We already have a very good goalkeeper in Dean Henderson. Let's give the young man a bit of backing. Okay, right now, let's not sell him. Let's not sell De Gea this transfer window. Let's wait for this season. Let Dean Henderson play the cup matches and all of that. Then we'll see if Dean Henderson is a good enough replacement to David De Gea. Lee Grant, okay, never mind. Joel Pereira can go out on loan. Nobody cares really. Defenders, we're starting from the right as we do in the lineups. Wan Bissaka, the man is here to stay. There is no question about that. Victor Lindelof, nobody dribbled past him last season in the Premier League, and that's because he was constantly tracking back. Only when you're sort of going to come into the tackle, will the winger, get a quick move in and dribble past you. That is not happening with Lindelof, and he was certainly to blame for the first goal against Crystal Palace. Should be doing better. So yeah, I mean, he's not the perfect partner for Harry Maguire either. Maguire, yes, he is a good centre back, does not have pace. So if you want someone alongside Maguire, it has to be someone with pace, and that is why I think the best partner for Harry Maguire is Smaldini. He's tall, he's physical enough, good in the air, got pace, as good as on the ball as Lindelof. I think Lindelof, he needs to be in the team. I'm not selling him. I think Smalling needs to be given a chance to play alongside Harry Maguire. Eric Bailly, just like Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo, too injury prone. I mean, is he ever fit? That's my question, guys. Eric Bailly, Rojo, and Phil Jones, are they ever fit? These three are deadwood, need to be cleared as soon as possible. It should have happened in this transfer window. It's not happened. Do not blame Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It's totally on Ed Woodward. And I mean, not the failure to sell these players is because of the high wages that they've been paid. They've been paid. Sorry, Phil Jones is on 75,000 a week, 75 grand a week. Now, I wanted to be a football player. I'm not going to lie about this. And the player that motivated me was Phil Jones. I was like, if this guy can be a football player at Man United, why can't I be a player at Man United? Phil Jones is, I mean, it's his 10th season at the club. It's unacceptable. Seven of those, Ed Woodward has been the chief handling the club. It is absolute shambles. Phil Jones, Rojo, Eric Bailly need to leave the club. They need to be sold. Do not renew their contract for the least. If you're not able to sell them, at least do not renew their contract. Shambles. Okay, Axel Tuanzebe, great player, had a bad injury last season, and ever since then he's sort of disappeared. Needs to, Kepa greater than God. True that, Rishabh. Not in the mood for jokes, to be honest. I mean, well, ranting, but if they are really funny, I'll accept them. Fosu Menza, decent enough player. I wouldn't mind him as a backup. Certainly not first team. I mean, starting 11 level. Diogo Dalot, again, a player that's pretty injury prone. Ole does not favor him because it was a Jose signing. There's not enough that Ole sees in him. Luke Shaw, decent. I mean, he was a great player at Southampton, but ever since that double knee fracture, double ligament fracture, whatever he's had, it's been really bad. And his physique is not good enough. He needs to cut weight off. He needs to cut the fat off literally. Like, he's not running up and down like you'd want a left back. That is exactly why I was screaming out for Sergi Reguilon. We've all seen a couple of videos. You can look it up on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, wherever you are active. Reguilon literally darts forward. He's in and around the box. Luke Shaw, what he does, gets the ball on the left flank, plays a simple pass in. He's never willing to take a man on. That's my problem with Luke Shaw. Brandon Williams, great chap. Right now, not first team quality. Wouldn't mind him as a backup. So yeah, we've covered Phil Jones, Marcus Rojo, Eric Bailly. Don't need to go in much detail about them. They're all the same. Okay, I need to reduce my volume a little bit. Uh, Midfielders now. We'll start from the CDM position. Nemanja Matic. Last season, the guy was good. I'm not gonna lie. Started off pretty slow. I called him a bag of cement a couple of times. Static Matic. We've all given the guy names. But towards the end of the last season, he was really good after the lockdown, playing alongside Pogba in the double pivot. It allowed Pogba to bomb forward occasionally, so I'm happy with that. Scott McTominay, great player, not first team quality if you want to win titles at the very highest level, not even top four level if you want to be having him in the first team. Clearly not the guy. The thing is, we saw it against Crystal Palace. You cannot play Pogba and Scott McTominay. The problem is McTominay's ball retention is poor. It's very bad. I mean, what do I say? Okay, but he cannot keep possession, and he's not an out and out number six. Like when Pogba is playing alongside McTominay, he has to sort of stay back. And when he was playing with Matic, he had the should Pogba leave Manchester United? Sort out your internet. What's the problem? My internet is pretty working. It's working all right. I did it on Friday. I did a live stream on Friday, and I used the same internet. It's the same place that I'm sitting. Yeah, the webcam quality sucks. I know that, but that's the only thing suffering right now. Okay, let's talk about the other players now. Fred. Fred is a baller. Should Pogba leave Man United? The question. I don't think so. He's going to leave United. If he wants to, well, he can to go to a club like Real Madrid. But even Zidane did not want him really. Otherwise, they would have got him easily this summer. I think with him reportedly very unhappy at the club. Uh, Juan Mata, number 8, needs to get out. I do not get in the first place why we renewed his contract at all. Very old, and I mean, the thing is, he's very old. Certainly lost a yard of pace. Who do you think will win the FIFA Player of the Year, Kepa or Lingard? Uh, I think this is going to be really tough to pick. See, the problem is Kepa might not get enough game time after they've signed Mendy. Uh, just a second. Okay. Uh, so there's problems with my video. I admit that is because of the webcam that I'm using. Is the inbuilt laptop webcam. I cannot do anything about it. If only I had 1,000 subscribers, I could stream from my phone. That would be great. But internet is working perfectly okay. Yeah. So let's talk about Mata. Too old, lost a out of pace, not quick enough mentally as well. I mean, he needs a bit of space. The smaller teams will not give him that. So Mata needs to be moved on. Lingard and Pereira, let's not talk about them. Fred, Bruno, obviously we can all agree he needs to stay. Much needed signing in January. Matic we've covered. Donny van de Beek just signed this season. I'm very happy about him. Garner, I think he's gone on loan. If he hasn't already, he needs to leave on loan. Get in some quality playtime at a championship. I think he's gone to Watford, hasn't he? He's gone to Watford, yeah. So again, if we can get playtime there, it's great. Now forwards, Tahith Chong. I do not get why they've kept Tahith Chong and did not renew the contract with Angel Gomez. I think Angel Gomez personally was the unhappy person. I mean, imagine uh, your manager starting Lingard and Pereira and Mata over you to give Bruno Fernandes a rest. Angel Gomez clearly better than all these three players. But right now, except Bruno, everyone is shit in your current team. Uh, I think okay, that's your opinion. Really, I'm okay with that. I don't respect that opinion because it's against my club. But again, it's your opinion. What more do I have to say? Everyone has the right to express their opinions. Sanskar. Okay. We'll move on to the forwards. Martial, great player, largely underrated, especially by the English press. gets a lot of unfair criticism, unfair stick. He's even improved his work rate. What's the problem with Martial? I don't get it. Like, what problem do people have with Martial? I don't get it. Greenwood, top baller, needs to be starting over Dan James. I mean, Dan James literally is a tap the ball merchant, if you want to call it. Tap the ball, run behind it. That's all he does. That cannot happen against the smaller teams when they're not going to give you space in behind to run in. Greenwood can create something out of nothing. He's two-footed, he's quick on the ball, not on the ground like Dan James. So Greenwood is a top player. He needs to be starting consistently down the right hand flank for Man United. Okay, Marcus Rashford. Some people call him Rashback. Some people say he's trash. I don't think he really is trash. I mean, you cannot defend Martial in one game and criticize Rashford in the same game if the problem is the midfield. The midfield, because of Pogba being forced to stay deep and McTominay's abysmal ball retention, the front three were literally starved. They had nothing to feed on. Bruno was sort of starved as well. Rashford, yes, he played worse than Martial. I'm not going to deny that against Palace. And Martial is better in terms of quality. There's no question about that for me, in my opinion. The thing with Rashford is against Palace, he came back from an injury. He's been playing for way too long. The injury is also the reason that he did not travel with the English squad. I'm happy he did not because, again, maybe another stress fracture would have followed. So, yeah, that's the players. Let's talk about the manager now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, around the manager, there's two, lobbies or points of views. That firstly, the manager is trash. The point against Crystal Palace was not Sancho, it was the team selection and the tactics. I fully agree with that. The second lobby says, the second perspective is, if you sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's literally the victory of the United board, Ed Woodward and Glazers, because all they've done is hung out their managers to dry and sack them. Appoint managers, not back them financially, sack them. That's all they've done. I agree with both these sides. And unfortunately, the only way forward for United is a sale of the club. I think that is the only way possible that United in the next at least 5 years will require to get back to contending for the Premier League seriously. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is tactically extremely naive. His team selection is bad. His substitutions do not make sense or are too late if they make sense at all. It needs to change at the club, sorry. It needs to change. Ask Ambani to buy a club. And what a coincidence. Literally, yesterday I was talking to my brother and I was like, I'll write a letter to Ambani. Please buy my club. If you want me, just give me to manage it. I'll show you how responsible I am. But jokes apart, I mean, we were hoping for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, to buy the club. That did not happen. It's become a sort of annual process where the board does not give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or any manager for that matter does not give the manager the player he wants to sign. Every year, especially under Mourinho, we have seen this statement in the press conferences. I have a list of players. I've submitted to Ed Woodward. Let's see what happens. And usually, what happens is the players that Jose wants are not fulfilled. I'm talking about the positions now, not the players themselves. So the positions that United need improvement in are not fulfilled. What happens next? The positions that we get players in are not the first choice players. Like for even when you play career mode, unless you're playing with like a Man City or an extremely rich club, if you're going for a challenge, going with a mid-table club, you're gonna have 2, 3 players on the table who you want to buy. And with Jose, we've seen that he used to get a third choice or fourth choice player to his team. And like, okay, yes, his tactics were bad. The problem is all the managers that we've had, apart from Louis Van Gaal, sort of have not been great. Jose fallout with Pogba, too defensive, too arrogant. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, too naive. David Moyes, not good enough. So the problem is the manager, definitely, but we need to look upwards of the manager, the board themselves. Let's start off with the physical department, the recruitment. Sorry, we'll talk about Ed Woodward now, and then lastly we'll come to the Glazers. If you're asking me what needs to happen with the managerial situation, unfortunately, the only way out I see of this from this is a new manager, which probably is too late. What I want is give Oli the players he wants, and then let's see what he can do. He's not been given the players he wants, and he's working with what he's got, but he's not working his 100% with what he's got, like the players he's got. He's making the wrong team selections, the wrong substitutions, all of that. Now, um I personally would want Pochettino to join in next season. Until Ancelotti signed for Everton, I was really keen that somehow let's sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the end of the season, halfway, whatever works. Get Carlo Ancelotti in, obviously before he signed for Everton. I was very keen on that. Ancelotti was literally unemployed. I mean, no team really wanted him. United could definitely afford to pay his wages, unlike few smaller teams like Monaco. So I was really keen on Ancelotti. Unfortunately, he went to Everton. Now, the only quality manager who is left without a club is Pochettino. Right now, it's too late to get a new manager in. Adi Rawat says Sancho. Okay, we'll talk about the recruitment now, and where we'll also cover Jadon Sancho. Don't be concerned about that. Okay, yeah. So let's start off with Ed Woodward, the man himself. Who is Ed Woodward? Ed Woodward is basically an accountant or investment banker, something along those lines, bank manager, whatever. I mean, call it what you want in the commerce field. The problem is, after Alex Ferguson, United, obviously we knew were going to rebuild. We had to rebuild because Sir Alex left. And when you want to build a house, who do you appoint? Yes, you need a banker, but who is the person that actually makes the house? It's an architect. Haaland should be your target, not Sancho. Well, Haaland was our target, but he rejected the vision that we sold to him. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, Marshall is a great player. People largely underrate him. And why would Haaland sign for United when he rejected United and signed for Borussia Dortmund only 8 months ago? So why would Haaland want to join United? Makes no sense to me. Okay, we're talking about Ed Woodward right now. So you need the architect to rebuild the house, not a banker. And there's this arrogance around Ed Woodward that he has, that he would not appoint a director of football. Ed Woodward is obsessed with the revenue. Okay, great. We're reaching record revenues almost every year. Great. I'm very happy with that. But the problem is, you're overpaying the wages. That's my problem. You're too concerned about the stock price. That's my problem. I mean, United literally spin the media like no other club. No other club. I mean, what they're only concerned about is how to raise the share price, how to increase the revenue. And the problem is, these people do not know how to manage money. They've given Alexis Sanchez 400, 500,000 pounds a week. Lingard is on over 100,000 pounds a week. Rashford is on something 200,000 pounds a week. Luke Shaw is on 150,000 a week, around that mark. Mata is on around 150,000 pounds a week. And these people have a problem paying for Sancho because you're overpaying your current squad of players. Defenders United should sign. I'll also cover that. No worries, Adi. The problem is you're overpaying these players and you cannot find a buyer for these clubs. So you're sucking the club dry with all your debt. You're taking all the interest out of the club. You're taking money out of the club. You do not have money left. Okay, how do you do that? You raise money by selling players. The problem is nobody's going to buy Phil Jones and Marcus Rowan, all the deadwood that United have. Pereira, Lingard, uh, Tahi, Tai Chong. Okay, I wouldn't label him deadwood. Sorry. I mean, all these players that United need to sell, nobody's going to buy because they are on ridiculously high wages. Now, let me tell you a very interesting fact to all the five people watching here. Phil Jones is on a £75,000 a week, and at that wage, he would be the highest earner at nine of the Premier League clubs. So, leave United aside, you've got 19 clubs, and he would be the highest earning player at half of them. How shocking and ridiculous is that in the first place? £75,000 a week to Phil Jones. Ed Woodward, okay, there's another couple of points that I want to talk about. In the seasons that United have not been in the Champions League, they spent an average of £160 million in the summer for the season when they've not been in the Champions League. And when they finally qualify for the Champions League, what happens? The board do not spend. You remember, you go back to Jose's first season, we signed Pogba, we signed Zlatan, Mkhitaryan, and Eric Bailly. Four really good players. They improved us. Okay, we go to the next step. We qualified for the Champions League after winning the Europa League. What happens in Jose's second season? We signed Lindelof. Okay, and that was all. We signed Lukaku. Yes, we signed Lukaku. Okay, you invested 75 million on Lukaku, around 30 million more on Lindelof. Great. January, Alexis Sanchez, you trade Alexis Sanchez and Mkhitaryan. You have him on ridiculously high wages, sucking the club dry of its money, sucking the fans dry. It's literally the fans who are paying for the debt of the Glazers, for the salaries of Phil Jones and Marcus Rojo and Lingard and Pereira, all of these players that we all want to have out of this club. We are the ones paying for the wages of these players. Now, I bought this jersey last year because it was a gift. If I had a choice, I wouldn't have bought it. Like every jersey that we buy, every match that we attend, we're filling the Glazers' pocket. And what are they doing? Mugging us off season after season after season. Jose's third season, let's talk about that now. Fred, we signed 52 million, okay. And Diogo Dalot, 20 million more, 70 million, alright. Ole's first season recruitment definitely improved, but we still do not have the players that we want. Defenders United should sign. We'll cover that in a couple of minutes very soon. I've read your comment, don't worry. Don't be concerned about that. So, I mean, this summer, what have they done? One signing, Donny van de Beek, that's it. All the other Premier League clubs have made more signings than United have this summer. And United, I mean, there's rival fans telling us United have the highest spend, all of that. Bullshit. People saying Kepa is the worst signing of the PL have clearly forgotten about Alexis Sanchez. Alright, we didn't at least pay like millions for him and then his 150,000 a week salary. What have we paid Alexis Sanchez? Gaurav, I've taken that personally because you're a Chelsea fan talking about Kepa being better than Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez we had for the half season under Jose's second season. The full season where Jose left midway and we signed Barcelona news Hindi. Can you give me a shout out? Okay, there is your shout out. I do not know what you're going to gain from a shout out where like five people are watching. Okay, so we paid Alexis Sanchez 1.5 years full salary, so that comes to around 30 million. And okay, Mkhitaryan add another 30 million on that because of the transfer swap. So that's 60 million, and around half of his 60% of his 20 million salary last season. So that's 72 million. Okay, you paid that much for Kepa Arrizabalaga, just the transfer for that. Okay, Barcelona news in the bro. Make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Let's give it back to me. We paid Alexis Sanchez 72 million, and I'm also including the wages that we paid for roughly 2 seasons after you factor in the 60% for the last season when he went to loan on Inter, and I've added 30 million considering we sent Mkhitaryan the other way. So that's 72 million. That is how much you paid for Kepa plus uh, 2 years salary at 150,000 pounds. That's another 16 million. So you've already spent 88, 85, 88 million on Kepa, his transfer, and the wages. So you better not talk about Alexis Sanchez. Okay, Ed Woodward. Sorry, let's come back to the man himself. So yeah, like I said, all the other clubs in the Premier League have made more signings than Man United. We are on 21st of September now. The window runs till the 5th of October. And you take out the games that United are playing, we have only 11 days left to make any transfers. Oli Sake, but Kepa's first season at Chelsea wasn't bad, to be honest. I don't remember Kepa's first season, I'm sorry. Must be. But financially, Kepa is the worst signing so far in the Premier League. So yeah, 21st of September, let's consider this day over. There's not going to be any signings in a couple of hours. That's literally not what United do. If United are signing a player, you already, you already know that 2 weeks minimum before the player signs. With Van de Beek exception, we knew it like 5 days, 7 days before he signed. But with most other players, you already know that they're going to sign for United before the club officially unveil that player, announce the signing of the player, whatever. Okay, Adi, you wanted me to talk about defenders that United should sign. Reguilon deal, I want to talk about. Real Madrid wanted 30 million euros. United went up to 25 million euros. Sorry, maybe I've already covered this. Just want to ask about Tellus. Is that happening? Yes, we'll talk about the left back situation now. As Adi wanted to talk, Adi wanted me to talk about the defenders. Left back. Reguilon was the first priority, is what Fabrizio Romano has said. That did not happen because Madrid wanted 30 million, a buyback clause, and a first option clause. Sorry, first refusal clause. It's called. United only went in with 25 million euros. What I would have done is pay 5-10 million extra, get the player in without these clauses. Real Madrid would have easily accepted a couple of million more and got rid of these weird clauses of the buyback and first refusal. So I think they need to be smart there with how they deal with transfers. They're already very slow on transfers. Whenever United get into a transfer battle for any player, United lose out. And I think that's what's going to happen with Jadon Sancho next season if we don't sign him in the 2 weeks that remain in the transfer window. Alex Telles, yes, Fabrizio Romano has said that United have got in contact with his agents, but that's my problem. United got in contact with the agents of Gareth Bale for years. I mean, not this summer, for years before last season. Even last season, they got in contact with the agent of Reguilon. They contacted the agent of Thiago. Where did these players? Where did these players go? Not to United. Reguilon went to Spurs. Bale has gone to Spurs. Thiago has just been signed by our biggest rival in Liverpool. So yeah, these men be monitoring deals and contacting agent, but that's all that happens. Also, Arsenal have just signed Alex Narsson, great keeper. Do you think United should cash out on De Gea now before his values go down? Okay, Gaurav, I have already covered that about De Gea. United should be looking to sell him this summer. There's not enough time left. Let's give De Gea this season, and we give Dean Anderson some game time in the cup competitions, and let's see how it works for Dean Henderson if he really is able to sustain that pressure. I already think he's fit to take over De Gea. People are not. Oli is not probably ready for that leap of faith to be given to Dean Anderson. So let's stick with De Gea for this season and sell him next summer if he's not playing well. Recruitment. Okay, left back. Talked about Telles. I think Telles deal will happen. Great player attacking wise. Finally, it looks like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has understood that Luke Shaw is too injury prone, not good enough going forward for United to have him in the first team as the first choice left back. So I'm great that he's also adding some competition. What I think he'll move Brandon Williams to a backup for Van Bissaka because Williams is originally right-footed. So I'm happy with that. And he might look to move on Dalot. There's also reports stating that United are looking to involve Diego Dalot in the deal for Tennis, send him back to Porto where we signed him from 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago. So the last segment of the United rant, the owners themselves. Okay, no, not really. We still have a couple of points to talk about. I've got a few screenshots from Twitter. Okay. The only ambition that United have shown is to experiment with their kits, and all of the kits that United have, it's the three worst kits. I mean, as a combination of three, United have the the worst kits that I've probably seen. I mean, leaving Burnley and West Ham out, from all the big clubs, United have the worst combination of three kits. Juventus have the best. Mm, all right, and Sky Sports were reporting that United are saying that they will not be distracted from their clear-headed approach in the transfer market by the hysteria coming from fans on social media. And you look at the arrogance of the club that they're calling fans who love the club, who fund the club, as hysterical. The absolute arrogance of this club is shocking to me. 8 years of failures in transfers, and these people will still not listen to United fans. I remember watching the United stand, and there's no shout out. It's 1,000 times bigger than my page, so I don't really care. It's 5,000 times bigger than my page. I mean, doing the math, I'm not worried about the shout out. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we were talking about Mark Goldbridge. Mark Goldbridge was talking about United needing to sign Fabinho. And one summer, out of nowhere, at night, Liverpool get linked to Fabinho, and then a couple of hours later, the deal is done. And Fabinho was fantabulous against Chelsea. He is the best CDM, I think, in the Premier League. Not Kante, just my opinion, Gaurav, don't get triggered in the live chat. My opinion is Fabinho is the best CDM. United slept on that deal. The fans were talking about it loud and clear. The board slept on it. And let me also talk about Bruno Fernandes now. Why did United sign Bruno Fernandes? Because Pogba was injured, because McTominay was injured, not because they wanted to sign a new player and improve the team. Because these two players were injured, the fans were shouting about Bruno Fernandes everywhere on social media, in the stadiums. I mean, you could literally hear the chants in the stadiums threatening Woodward and Glazers. That is why United signed Bruno Fernandes. If they really wanted to sign Bruno Fernandes, they would have wrapped it up on the 1st of January, not taken it till the 30th of January, bargained for a couple of million. And if United had signed him early on, like in the first week of January, we would not have seen the top four race go to the last wire, go to the last couple of game weeks, match weeks, whatever. And Rio Ferdinand has also said something on Jadon Sancho. The kid has mad talent. I need him at Man United. Please, I'm begging. I'm almost begging, is what a legend of the club has had to say. And the board has disrespected several legends at the club, be it Ferdinand, be it Evra. All these players were told a day before that United were willing to sell them, not going to renew their contract. I mean, the recruitment is absolutely trash at United. Okay, now I'm also reading another tweet. The fact that United can't seem to negotiate with clubs properly and efficiently is clearly worrying. Paid over the odds for Maguire, there is no doubt about that. Took a month and a half for Wan Bissaka, a month for Bruno, yet we seem to sell easy. When Di Maria wanted out, we didn't even get what we paid for. This is a really worrying trend at Man United. The transfers need to be handled. The only reason I tell you why we got uh, Koulibaly at United, I would take him, but it's like with just 1 year left on his contract, Napoli are asking for like 75 million. Firstly, I don't think United have the funds. Secondly, even if they do have, I do not think it makes. Okay, maybe it does because like center defenders peak later. I would actually do it, but I do not see United having the funds for this deal and even Jadon Sancho. I mean, let's complete the Telles deal first and then see what happens next. And I mean, United's transfer policy is luckily we had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming in with this youth approach that's transformed the recruitment a bit. Otherwise, it's a really worrying thing at United that people easily ignore. Oh, okay. The last segment about United, the owners finally. So, in the early 2000s, they bought us on debt. Okay, I get that. I am someone who's massive into business and financial education. Debt makes a lot of sense if you're going to repay it. At United, they haven't done that. That's my problem. You can buy a club on debt. Yes, it's leveraging. Yes, it saves your money. Great. I'm okay with that. But the the thing is, they did this really, I wouldn't say smart, a wicked takeover. They took the debt from another Glazer owned company, which is Red Football United, Red Football Private Limited, or something along those lines. They took the debt from another Glazer owned company. I do not know how it was allowed, and I think it is that way. I'm not 100% sure. I'm 95% sure about this. You can read the entire thing on the internet. So they took a loan from a Glazer owned company, and ever since then, United have been deep in debt. Around 540 million was the debt at that time, and in the 14 years since then, they've only paid 44 million out of that. Considering that the whole squad of Barca is on the transfer list, would you take Umtiti instead of Koulibaly? He's comparatively cheaper option, and I heard United have inquired about him. Gaurav, this must have happened a couple of months ago. Like United and Arsenal always get linked to Umtiti, but he's not fit enough, and I don't think United are in for a centre back in the first place, let alone Umtiti, Koulibaly, and all the players that we're mentioning. So they've only paid out 44 million of that debt in 14 years. I've also got more screenshots on this from the One Football app. Again, no promotion here. I mean, uh, yeah, screenshot, and I'm looking at the graph now. Premier League financing in the last 5 years, owner financing at United, it's been negative 89 million. Negative, they've drained out 89 million out of this club in the last 5 years. That's around 18 million pounds every year. And let's not talk about the dividends that they get. This is money taken out straight from our pockets. These people are literally thieves who are allowed to steal money because they are the owners of this club. The debt is a huge problem. Premier League financing last 5 years, total financing in million pounds. United minus 170. They've taken out 34 million pounds on an average in the last 5 years. That's 170 million pounds taken out of this club in the last 5 years. Where does this money come from? From the jerseys you buy, from the stadium tours we attend, from the matches we attend. and from all the other merchandise we buy apart from the jersey. This is where their money comes from. They've mugged us off big time. People have started to realize this luckily. So yeah, they've taken money out of our pockets. Okay, so one thing that they did was sell a part of this club on different stock exchanges. It's on the New York Stock Exchange, it's on the Stuttgart Stock Exchange, and it's on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. Where did this money raised go to? Straight into their pockets. This money that the owners raised, that the club raised by selling a part of the club to the general public, was straight into the pockets of the Glazers. And it's really sad. I mean, like I said, I really study the stock market and other company related things. A company usually raises funds if it wants to either grow, which United haven't done really. The stadium is still the same size, there's no real change, or to redeem debt. United have done neither of these two things. United, what they've done, okay, yes, if it's a private placement, like Facebook invested in Geo, that sort of a deal. It's the promoter, it's the shareholder himself, not the majority, the minority shareholder who's selling his stake in the company. So yes, he can put it into his pockets. United, that's not happened. Crystal Palace versus United, we've talked about it, or have we? Okay, I'll cover that after this. So yeah, that's all about the Glazers. Crystal Palace versus United. I mean, yes, fans are going to laugh about it. I'm not concerned about that. What I want for my club is that we buy players, we have a good manager, and we start winning trophies again. Tactics were bad, substitutions were bad. I've said all of that. I do not want to go on about it again. So, to all the four people watching, do you want me to discuss Bartomeu, Kroenke, Daniel Levy, all of these, or should we call it a day? Any more questions on United comments? I'm more than willing to take them from the live chat. Yes. So Sanskar Sharma says yes. He wants me to talk about Bartomeu and all of that. Okay, Bartomeu, I'm not going to talk about Bartomeu. I already have a separate Barcelona playlist on my channel. So you can check that out. There's a podcast on there. There's literally videos I've explained what is wrong at Barcelona. So we're not covering Bartomeu right now. The other three people, let's not talk about Bartomeu. Yeah, I've already covered that. So that's my only thing. That's why I'm not talking about Bartomeu right now, because there's like 3, 4, 5 videos in that playlist already. So not willing to talk about Bartomeu again. Any questions around United or any other general football thing? This is a United fan channel. This is a football fan channel. How has the man not been assassinated yet is beyond me. Uh, I mean, okay. Any other questions? I'm more than happy to take them from the live chat. Gaurav, Sanskar, Adi, Rishabh, any one of you, any questions, comments around United, other boards? If you want me to talk about Daniel Levy, I'll do that willingly. See, Daniel Levy, they did not spend on transfers because they had this huge new stadium that they had to save their money for. Now that the new stadium is ready, they are spending on transfers. They signed Bale on loan, they signed Reguilon. Last summer, they signed Lo Celso, they signed Bergwijn. Want to talk about Chelsea's shitty mentality, man? Uh, I'll bring you one for a separate Chelsea podcast. That's not a worry, Gaurav. We'll talk about Chelsea in that video. Right now, my throat is aching a little bit. So, if there is nothing more in the live chat, should we call it a day? Guys, should we end this live stream here, or Lambs did put out a team to win for Liverpool yesterday? Uh, I don't think it was a bad team necessarily. the selection was poor, definitely. Chilwell, I think he's injured or suspended. I get why he picked Alonso. I get why he did not pick Chilwell. He should have played Reece James at left back and Aspilicueta at right back. Maybe would have been a better choice. Thiago Silva maybe should have started. Is he injured or like what's the situation around Silva and Sar? I do not really know. I haven't been really following football in the last couple of days. Obviously, now that I'm back, I will start doing that. Okay. So yeah, since there is nothing more interesting in the live chat, I will end this stream right here. Thank you so much to all the people that joined in. There's already 9 likes on the video. 4 people. Okay, so who is this fourth person that's joining in right now? I want to know. The thing is, we're ending the live stream. So sorry to whoever joined just now. You can watch the entire video on YouTube. It's going to stay. Obviously, Gaurav Nair, great stream, bro. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you so much to Adi, Sanskar, Rishabh, and Lika Skem for being active in the live chat. Sanskar says, good luck, bro. Thank you so much. All right, so that's all. Podcast about Chelsea with me soon, bro. Wanna rant so bad. All right, so that's the end of this video. It's around 10:25 now, so I've got to sleep. Thank you so much. I'll end this stream, and it should be published on YouTube. Might take a bit of time because it's a live stream. It's very big, like 52 minutes. So processing might take a bit of time, but you'll be able to see it in a couple of hours, at least by next morning. So yeah, thank you so much. Goodbye. Good night.